Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tom or Gummy, and today we are doing another statue tutorial. Today we are doing Nightmare Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's 4. So again, this is designed by Lazar, much like all the other Five Nights at Freddy's 4 characters. So definitely show some support. I'll leave a link to his channel and his Twitter down below. If you are interested, I have done some other videos on the other Five Nights at Freddy's 4 characters so far. I've done Chica and also Fredbear. I will be doing the other ones in the very near future, so definitely stick around, subscribe if you haven't already. But if you do enjoy this video, please don't forget to leave a like. Again, this video shouldn't be too much longer than the other ones. In fact, it probably should be a tad shorter because it is a bit simpler than the other tutorials I've been doing recently. So hopefully we'll break before the hour mark. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. I will see you in the tutorial. Alrighty guys, so let's get straight on into the tutorial. What we're first going to do is list off the blocks you'll need to build this statue, and then we'll get straight into building it. So you'll need cyan stained clay, stone, black wool, brown stained clay, grey wool, red stained clay, hardened clay, just the plain one, quartz stairs, stone brick stairs, and also yellow stained clay. So if you want to pause, get them blocked into your inventory, that will be great, and then we can get straight on into building. Okay, so what we're first off going to do is place 3 cyan stained clay, leave a 2 block gap, and place 3 more. Now normally you would start off by placing an 8 long line. Difference between this and normal statues is this is 2 legs, whereas a normal statue has got 1 solid leg. What we're doing with this statue is using the animatronic legs, or the endoskeleton legs, which not Withered Foxy, Nightmare Foxy, my bad, already mixing them up, has. And this is a really detailed statue, so it looks really awesome with the 2 separate legs. What that does mean though is that we have more of a difficult situation for the start, and something that I'm going to have to try and explain, but is very reliant on you guys paying attention to the screen and looking at the visuals on screen. So, what we're going to do is behind this cyan stained clay, we're going to place 3 black wool on either side, and when I say on either side, it's because both legs are the exact same. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do a layer of stone on top of that, so that's 6 blocks of stone. And behind that, so this is the front, as you can see, the part with the cyan stained clay is the front. And we come around to the back and we do a row of black wool on the second row behind the stone. So that's 1, 2, 3 black wool. And once you've done that from the side, it will look like this. And from the front, it will look like this. It won't look like having that black wool there because it doesn't belong there. But anyways, what we're going to do is, on top of this, we're going to do a cross shape of black wool. So that means we place one on the center mid, center left, center right, and then bottom mid and top mid. And you get a shape like this. We do that on the other leg as well, and it will look like this. We then do the exact same on top of that, but using stone this time rather than black wool. So it will look like that. And on top of that, we place a 3x3 of black wool. Once we've done this, I will give you guys an opportunity to pause and maybe explain things a bit further. So, as I said, this is what it should look like so far. So far, it should be 5 blocks tall, and generally it's a 3x3 shape, but of course in the corners here we are missing blocks, so it's not a consistent 3x3. But yeah, that's what it should look like from the side. Remember, each one is the same, so just looking at one side, replicate it. This is the front, and then we have the back. Okay, so as you can see, that's what it will look like in a bit, so definitely pay attention and you'll have one of them in your world. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do another crisscross using stone on top of that. And then on top of that, we place another 3x3 of black wool. Once you've done that, what we're going to do is we are going to place a row of cyan stained clay in the mid left, mid center, that's not cyan, there we go, mid left, mid center, and mid right on each one, like so. And this is where we start moving on into the trousers. So this still counts as the legs almost, but we're going to let you guys pause here right now, because this is where the endoskeleton legs end. One last feature we do need to add to the endoskeleton legs before we move on is the claws on his feet. So we come to the front where we got the cyan stained clay at the bottom, and on the first block we place 1 stone stair in front, and on the third block we do the exact same. Again, on the right leg it is the exact same. And that is the legs so far. If you want to pause, feel free to do so. If not, let's continue. So now we are moving on into the trousers, which still counts as a leg. I will still define it as a leg, but it requires slightly more attention and slightly more detail. So again, starting at the front, we leave one block here. In front is cyan stained clay, we place one brown stained clay, leave a block, place one, go down one, then we leave a block, place two, go down one, punch that one black wall out, replace it with brown stained clay, and then we leave one. Next, what we do is we place a row of 8 brown stained clay. So it should look like that, and that is the initial link between the legs. Before they weren't linked, now they are. Next row, what we're going to do is we're going to place another row of 8 brown stained clay, and it will look like this. Next row is 3 brown stained clay, 2 black wool, 3 brown stained clay. Next row, 2 brown stained clay, 1 black wool, 2 brown, 1 black, 2 brown. And that is the top of the legs. So when I refer to legs, I mean 12 by 8, and as you can see right now, that is 12 by 8. I can prove it to you right now if you want. So the floor is Y5, as you can see. The top of this will be Y17. And you can see on screen right now, it is in fact Y17. If you're on PC, it should be Y16, because it's slightly more different. But nevertheless, it should be looking like this. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to punch out the details on the legs, and then we'll move on to the upper areas. So for the details on the legs, we come to the second row, second block in, punch out one out, we go up diagonal to the right and up diagonal to the left. We punch 3 blocks out on the left. On the right, we come to this black wall here, we go down diagonal to the side and up twice, and we punch 4 blocks out on the right side. So on the left side, these 2 blocks we go behind, and the 2 upper blocks we place stone behind. So we go behind it and indent stone 1 block back, as you can see. So the 2 upper ones have stone, the lower one is just empty. You're meant to be able to see straight through. The right side we come round. The bottom cornered one is stained clay, cyan stained clay. We then go up diagonal, leave the bottom one out empty. This one is grey wool, and then we come up one with stone. So on the right side it's cyan stained clay, bottom left corner, middle grey, and then up with stone. So that is the front of the legs complete. If you want to pause, I will get rid of my arm. You can do so right now. There you go. And again, it should be 12 by 8. This is the sides of the legs so far. We will be adding more details to that in a second. Okay, so what we're going to do now, and it's not something we normally do, we're going to do the sides and backs of the legs before we move on to the body, and this will all make sense in a second. So for the sides of the legs, what we're going to do is we are going to get our brown stained clay. We're going to come around to the left side first, and on top of this cyan stained clay here, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the next row we leave 1 block and we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and it should look like this. On the very end row, the one where I just said to leave it, you do in fact place 1 brown stained clay right there, as you can see, and then we extend it 1 over the edge, whoops, my bad, like so, and then we bring it up 1, 2, 3. So the final row, the 4th row, as you can see, it's only 3 wide at the moment, the legs. The 4th row, in fact, is up here on the brown stained clay part, and what we do is we just go up diagonal from that bottom left bottom one there, we go up diagonal to the left and then up 3. So it should look like this if you follow correctly. If you want to, feel free to pause. And again, the other side is the exact same. So on top of the cyan stained clay, we go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Next row is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the next row we go up diagonal and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the right side. And this is the left side. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to do the back of the legs. And again, this probably might not make sense to you guys, but you'll see it in a second why. So we come around to the back, and we're going to start on the left side. So we come from this block here, we go down diagonal, and we place 1 block. Essentially we leave 1 block there, we place 1, place another 1, leave 1, then we place 1 and go down 1. So again, whoops, it should be 1 forwards from that. We leave 1 block gap, and then we place 2, then we leave 1, and then we place 1 and then leave 1. Next row, again, is 8 brown stained clay. So it will link up like so. And that kind of shows you what the first row should look like. I didn't really explain that too well. But it's 1 gap, 2 brown, 1 gap, 1 brown. We go down 1, we leave 1 gap, 1 brown, and then 1 gap. The next row, again, is 8 brown stained clay. Next row is 2 brown stained clay, 2 black, 2 brown. Sorry, lost my voice there for a second. Next row, and the final row we'll be working on for now, is 1 brown, 1 black, 2 brown, 1 black, and 1 brown. And it links up to make it like this. So, if you want to, feel free to pause. I'll punch out the details and then we'll move on. So the left side of the details, what we do is we come to this black wall here, we go down diagonal to left, punch that one out, to the left one and up one, and it makes a right angled shape. We then come to the right side, to the second row up, second to last block, and punch that one out. That block is empty, we do not put anything behind it, but on the left side, this top one here, we indent 1 grey wall, and then the one here, we indent 1 cyan stained clay. Again, this one block here, we leave empty, but if you've done it correctly, it should look like this. Okay, so one last thing we're going to do before moving on. What you can do if you want to, and it makes sense to, is just patch this up and fill in the area like so. We don't want to fill this gap here, but just fill everything else about it, so you essentially can't look up the legs, which makes it look a bit more solid compared to if you didn't. Again, don't fill in these gaps. You can fill that one in, that doesn't matter, but anything that's intentionally left empty, like this and this, do not fill in. And again, coming back round to the front, it should look like this. Okay, so that is the legs complete. Again, you should have a 12 by 8 by 4 area, like we have on screen. But now what we're going to do is move on to doing the body. So, for the body, what we're going to do is we're going to go round to the front again. We're going to start on the left hand side, and the first 2 blocks are black wool. We're then going to place 1, 2, 3, 4 brown stained clay, and then 2 black wool. Okay, so next what we're going to do, on the left side, we're going to go up 1 with black wool. We're going to place 6 brown stained clay, and then we're going to place 1 black wool. And that is officially the top of the trousers. Again, the top of the legs is this row right here, the 12th row, but the 14th row is the top of the trousers. So, what we're going to do, we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left on the top row. We're going to come down 1 row, so to second top row, and to the right we go 1 cyan stained clay, 1 red stained clay, 1 cyan stained clay, and 1 red stained clay. And that's purely to mark out where the arm starts. So as you can see, it's kind of lopsided. The left side is 1 higher than the right side. So that side is only 11 by 4 for the arm. That side is right by 4, 12 by 4 is the right arm, is what I meant to say. Mixing up my words. But it makes up on the left side by the fact that the left side has a hook, of course. So, that is what it should look like so far. That is the legs and the trousers complete, and that's where the arms start. What we're going to do is we're going to come to the top here, so like an aerial view, and where this first black wall is on the left side, we're going to bring it back 2 using brown stained clay. We're going to place 1 black wool, then we go 6 to the right using again the brown stained clay, 1 black wool, and then we bring it 2 forwards to link it back together. What that does is that gives us an area which is the start of where the endoskeleton for the body goes. So what we do on the left side is we place a 2x2 of black wool. On the right side we do the exact same, and in the centre we place a 2x2 of brown stained clay. Now in the middle, where the brown stained clay is where the endoskeleton is going to start. But for now, we're not going to worry about that. For now, we are going to worry about the sides again. So, what we do for the sides, here we place 3 black wool. And we do the exact same on the right side, even though it will be covered. Just for purposes of making things nice and neat. And for the back side of the statue, what we're going to do is we're going to place 1 black wool there. And then 4 brown stained clay and 1 black wool in that gap, and again from the back it should look like this. Okay, so now that's sorted and we've got a whole complete legs, as I said before. What we're going to do is move on to doing the body and the arms. So, we're going to do the arms first because it's easier and it gives us the general idea of where the body goes. So we come around to the front, as you can tell by the claws on the toes. And we're going to start on the left arm, the one that's 11 by 4. So we've got this row of black wool, 4 wide. Next row is 4 stone. Next row, 4 black wool. Next 4 rows is red stained clay. Row on top of that is black wool. And then we've got 3 rows of red stained clay. Now if you've done this correctly and you are on Xbox Super Flat, the Y coordinate should be 29 if you take a peek at your map. On PC it should be 28. For some reason it's 1 shorter on PC, the Super Flat world. But the general gist is make sure the statue is 24 blocks tall. As you can see, the floor is Y5. So the legs are 12 blocks tall and the body is 12 blocks tall. Of course the body starts just there, where in line with that other hand. And for the left arm, it should be 11 by 4, and then the right arm is 12 by 4. Talking of the right arm, what we're going to do now is, of course, the right arm. So, on top of this row that we've already got, we're going to place 2 rows of red stained clay, a row of black wool, 4 rows of red stained clay, a row of black wool, and then 3 rows of red stained clay. And again, it should come perfectly in line with the other arm at the top and should be 24 blocks off the ground, in this case Y29, and as you can see it clearly does, and that arm is 12 by 4. Now below these cyan stained clays at the bottom we're going to place 1 stone under each one to represent claws, of course, because why not? And what that does is that leaves us with this centre part here, which is what the middle is going to go, or the chest in other words. So, for the chest, we're going to start off by doing the endoskeleton inside the chest. It makes it easier rather than working inside the chest after we've done the outer detail to do the inner detail first and then move on to the outer detail afterwards. So for the inner detail we're going to come to the middle part here. Make sure again you're looking from the front perspective to this 2x2 of brown stained clay. This layers here is where the outer or detail for the front and back go, so we do it in these 2 middle blocks right there. So on them 2 middle blocks we place a 2x2 of cyan stained clay. We then place a 2x2 of black wool. On top of that we place a 2x2 of cyan stained clay, but we go to the left one and to the right one. At this current point in time everything I do is too thick, but that will change very soon, so definitely pay attention. Next what we do is a 2x2 of stone. On top of that we do a 3x2 of cyan stained clay, so that's 3 rows of 2 thick. On top of that we do a 2x1 of black wool. And then finally, cyan stained clay. And again, once you've done that, this should be the top of your statue, so it should come in line with the top of the arms. Right now, it should look like this. Again, in order of what we just done, it's cyan stained clay, or 2 thick of cyan stained clay, 2 thick of black, 4 thick cyan stained clay, 2 rows of stone, 3 rows of cyan stained clay, a row of black, and a row of cyan stained clay. If you want to, feel free to pause. But for now, the next parts are just 1 thick, so we only do it on the front blocks. Whereas before we were doing it 2 thick, now it is only 1 thick. So what we do first is we go 1 to the left from this cyan stained clay here, and 1 to the right. And then we go 1 to the left again, and 1 to the right. First time using black wool, second time using cyan stained clay. From this top row of the stone here, we go 1 to the left using black wool, and 1 to the right using black wool. We then go 1 to the left using cyan stained clay, and 1 to the right using cyan stained clay. We then go up diagonal on the left side, up diagonal on the right side. Using cyan stained clay, we go up 1 using stone on each side, and then up 1 using black wool on each side. Then, to link it back to the middle, we bring it in 1 using cyan stained clay, and then in 1 again using stone. And that brings it back towards the middle. And once you've done that, that is all you need to do for now. One last thing we can do, just to join it up and just make it look neat, is place 3 red stained clay to the left of the cyan at the top and 3 to the right. And once you've done that, that is the front of the endoskeleton complete. If you want to, feel free to pause. Again, it should be 10 tall and 8 wide. So, if you want to, feel free to pause here. For now, we're going to move around to the back side of the endoskeleton and add the detail there. Okay, so coming around to the back side of the endoskeleton, it should be looking like this so far. That's what we've got at the front, and then this is the pillar we've got at the back so far. So, Working off what we've got so far, we're going to come to this black wall here, the first one. We're going to build up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 using stone, and it will connect up with this cyan stained clay pillar right there. And we do the exact same on this side. So 6 on the left, 6 on the right. Again, it should be on the bottom corner of the black wall, like there. Okay, so on the third row, or in other words, in line with this, we're going to go 1 to the left and 1 to the right using black wool. And then on this row here, where the stone is, we're going to double that black wool up like so. On top of the stone pillars we just built, we're going to place 1 black wool either side. And on top of that, we're going to go up 3 using stone. 1, 2, 3. We're then going to link that back towards the middle by doubling these 2 stones up here. And that makes an L shape and a backwards L shape. Next, what we're going to do is again just doubling up. We have these 3 blocks here on the left side, which is black wool, stone and cyan. We're going to double them up, and we go to the right side, and again we've got black wool, stone and cyan. And once you've done that, that is pretty much it for the endoskeleton. If you want to, feel free to pause. If not, we're going to go back round to the front, and we're going to start working on adding the chest, but also punching out some details on the arms and adding them in. So, coming round to the front, it will look like this right now, and it will look kind of awesome, if you ask me. What we're first going to do is start punching out the details on the arms, then we'll get to filling this middle part in. So, starting on the left arm, what we're going to do is come to the second row, and the third block, punch it out and go up diagonal. We're then going to come around the back and indent it with black wool. Like so. And then when you come around the front, it should look like this. Moving on to the next red section, up here, what we're going to do on the second row, first block we're going to punch out, and on the third row, first and second block we're going to punch out. So this is very similar to the Nightmare Chica that we did, where we cut off, I guess, the corners of their shoulders to give it a more curved feeling. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come to the first row, second and third block, and then we go up one, and we're going to punch that one out. On the upper part, we're going to go behind and indent stone. And then for the lower part, we're going to bring it back one more. So we go underneath the stone, bring it back one further, and 2. And then we're going to place 2 black wool there, and we're going to build it up either side just to cap it off, I guess. And what that does is that gives you the effect that the black wool is further set back into the statue more than 1. It's in fact set back 2. So as you can see, it looks like that, and it gives you a really, really nice effect. Okay, so for the right side of the arm, it's slightly more complicated. Well, not that much more complicated, but it's still complicated nevertheless. So we come to the second section here, which is the 4x4 area. Come to the first row, third block in from the left, punch it out, go up 1 to left 1, up 1. We then come around the back and indent it with the black wool, like so. And it should look like this. We then do the exact same as we did on the other arm, so we punch the top corner out, the one to the left of it and the one below it. And then for the little right angle corner on this side, we go on top of this black wool, we punch that one out to the right one, and then also on top of that one. We then come around the back again, and like we did on the other side, we indent it one using the stone, and then we come behind the stone, indent it one further, and cap it off with the black wool. And again, that gives you the effect like this, and it should be indented 2 blocks in for the black wool and only 1 for the stone. So, if you want to, feel free to pause here. Again, that is relatively complicated, so I do understand if you want to take your time. Again, for the hook, we'll come back to that later on in the video, so don't you guys worry. But for now, we're going to work on the middle part of the chest. So, talking of the middle part for the chest, what we're going to do is we're going to get our hardened clay, no colour, just hardened clay. And we're going to start on the left side. In line with this arm here, the first block of red stained clay, we're going to go 1 to the side, we're going to go up 1 to right 1, and then we're going to do a 2x2 on top of that, and it gives you a shape like this. Next, what we're going to do on top of this first row of hardened clay, we're going to build up 1, 2, 3, 4 using red stained clay. The next row is, from the top, is 1 red stained clay, and then we go down 1. Next row is 1 red stained clay. Then we go down 2 with the hardened clay. The next row is 6 hardened clay. So again, from the top we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next row is 2 hardened clay. We leave a 2 block gap and then we place 1. So it should be looking like this. And then for the next row is 1 red stained clay. The next row is 2 red stained clay, and then we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the hardened clay. And then the final row is from the top 1, 2, 3, 4 red stained clay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 hardened clay. And once you've done that, it looks like this, and it gives you a really, really awesome effect. I will in fact get rid of my arm one last time because it is very, very difficult to replicate unless you really pay attention. So I'll zoom in right close. Just by matching it up with the sides of the arms, it should be pretty simple and pretty self-explanatory. So definitely take your time and it should be easy enough. Okay, so by now, hopefully you've got that. I'll get my hand back. Let's get it on. There you go. So that is the front of the statue complete. Now, it's looking awfully hollow at the back, and we're going to sort that right now. But first, we're going to fill in the sides of the arms. So, for the sides of the arms, the left side of the arm, what we're going to do is we're going to bring it back 1, 2, 3, all the way across, like so. And that creates a 4x4 area, as you can see, of black wool. On the side of the arm, what we're going to do is place 3 stone, then 3 black wool, and then 4 rows of 3 red clay, a row of 3 black, and then this is where things get slightly more complicated, to say the least. We're going to add the curved edge, like what we did before. This row here, we're going to place 2 red stained clay, we're going to punch that one out and replace it with red stained clay. What that does is that just gives you a nicer finish there. The next row is from left to right 3 red stained clay, and then the final row is only 2. So again, it gives you that nice curved effect, and right there on top of that stone, we're going to place 1 red stained clay, just to finish it off. So that is the left side of the arm. Again, it should be 11x4. If you want to, feel free to pause. If not, that is totally fine. Coming round to the right side, what we're going to do is we are going to get our red stained clay. We're going to come to where the cyan stained clay is, and we're going to extend it back 1, 2, 3, all the way across. And again, that gives you a 4x4 square. Then coming around to the side, what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 layers of red stained clay. We've already got the first layer, so we're only building 2. Next layer is black wool. Next 4 layers is red stained clay. Next layer is black wool. Next layer, red stained clay. And then the next layer, we leave 1, place 3. Next layer, we leave 2, place 2. And then again, in this corner block here, we place 1 right there. And this side is 12x4. A few minor things we need to change on this. So we come down to the bottom left corner. We leave 1 block, punch out and out, replace it with cyan. Leave 1 block, punch out, replace with cyan. Again, underneath we place 2 stone. And that gives us the claws. Again, that is the right side of the arm, which is 12x4. Not including the stone claws. Okay, so if you haven't paused, feel free. If not, we're going to move around to the back of the statue and start adding some detail. So, first of all, we're going to do the sides of the arms, or the back of the arms, should I say, because it is easier, and it means that we can add the middle a tad easier, as you saw from the front. So we're going to start on the back of the right arm, or in this case, the left arm, because we're looking at it from the back point of view. This one, the longer arm, in other words. So, the first 3 rows, of course, are red stained clay. The next row, black wool. Next 4 rows is red stained clay. And in this case, we only have to actually place 3 blocks on each row because we've got the 4th one already built. The next row is 3 black wool. And then the final 3 rows is red stained clay. Of course, that is not what it looks like finally, so we do need to add the final details. So the second section, this 4x4 of red stained clay, we come to the first row. From the left, we go 1 to the side, punch it out. 1 to the side again, up 1, and then up diagonally to the left. Behind this, we indent black wool, like so. And then we go up another notch to this top part. We go to the first row, second, third block in, up 1, and then behind this, for the first row, we place 2 black wool, and then for the top row, we place 1 stone. And it should look like this. This is 12x4, and of course, if you want to, feel free to pause right here. Okay, so for the right side of the arm, or the back of the left one, what we're going to do is we're going to place 3 stone. We've got the first row, which is black wool. Next row is 3 black wool. Next 4 rows, of course, is red stained clay. Next row is black wool. and then we've got the 3 rows of red stained clay. For the details, we come to the left side again. We go up 1 row and to the right 1. We go 1 there, up 1 and to the right 1, and that makes a right angled shape like so, and we indent the black wall 1 in like that. On the upper section, we come to the right side. We go 1 to the left, punch 1 out, go up diagonal to the left and up again. In this top corner here, we just place red stained clay indented 1 block. In this block here, we place 1 stone indented, and then in this one we should already have 1 black wall indented from the front. Again, that is the left arm, or the back of the left arm, and it should be 11 by 4. If you want to, feel free to pause. Okay, so what that means we can do now, as we have built all sides of the arms, is we can add the hook. So we come right round to the front, like so, and we come to the middle 2 blocks right here. So we leave 1, we come in 1, and we go towards the statue. So we leave 1 block away from the statue, so these 2 blocks here, and we place 2 stone. We then go out diagonal towards the away from the statue, and all this is doubled up, bear in mind. We then go out again, so 1 more further block. We go down 1, and then we bring it back in, and bring it back in again, and that gives you your hook. So just to recap, we go 1 block away from the side of the leg, place 2 thick, go down diagonal, again 2 thick, down diagonal again, down 1, and then down diagonal to the right and to the side 1. And of course that's what it looks like from the front, that's what it looks like from the side, and then the back. So, if anyone comments down below that there is no hook, I'm going to cry. It's clearly there, so hopefully you guys have noticed it and actually build it. Okay, so now that's out the way, that leaves us with just one thing before we can move on to the head, and that is the back of the body. So, for the back of the body, very, very simple. What we're going to do is start on the left side, we're going to leave 2 blocks, and we're going to go up 8 using red stained clay. The next row, we're going to come down, we're going to start at the top and come down. We go down 7, so it's 1 shorter than the first row. The next row is 1 red stained clay. Second row is 2, leave 2 blocks and then place 1. Next row is 6, so it should be 1 further down than this block here. Next row is 3. Next row is 2, leave 2 blocks gap and then place 1, 2, 3. And then the final row is 8. So it should come all the way down, and then you'll have a 2 block gap right there. So if you want to, feel free to pause. Again, from left to right, it goes 8, 7, 1, 2, leave 2 block gap, 1, 6, 3, 2, leave 2 block gap, 3, and then finally the last row on the right is 8. So one last thing we're going to do, and I just noticed, is we're going to link these up, fill these in. Just says not gaps in the side of his arms, and we do the same on this side, place 2 stone, 2 black wool, and that does the trick, as you can see. And then for the top of the statue, we're just going to fill any gaps in with red stained clay. Okay, and once you've done that, that is the statue, or the body of the statue complete. One thing we do want to point out is on the left side from the top, we do not want to fill this one in, we want to keep that one empty. But it should look like this, and that looks really weird. It looks like almost like a face. We've got 2 eyes, nose, and the mouth. But anyways, that's me rambling. So before we move on to the head, I am going to show you around the body one last time. Then we will pause the video, make sure everything's going great audio-wise as usual, and then we'll be right back. So again, this is the front of the legs. From the bottom, where the claws are, to the top of the brown stained clay is 14 tall, 8 wide. If you're doing the legs, it goes up to this block right here, and that is 12 by 8. Coming around to the side, this is the left side. Again, the animatronic legs, or the endoskeleton legs, are only 3 wide until we get up to the trousers. Then coming around to the right side. And again, this should be pretty self-explanatory. If 1, you've paid attention, or 2, you should be able to figure it out just by looking at the screen. Like, for example, you can tell this is 4, because there's 1 block gap there, 1 block gap there, and then we got the 2 blocks right there. So again, it is very, very self-explanatory. This is the right side, or sorry, the left side of the arm, which is 11 by 4. And we got the hook below that, which makes up for it. We got the right side of the arm, which is 12 by 4. And then coming around to the back, we got the back side of the legs. This block here, or the block of the brown stained clay is actually extended out one from the legs, which is different to the front. And again, it should look like this. And just to what I was talking about just there, as you can see at the front, the brown stained clay isn't extended one over the front of the endoskeleton legs, but at the back it is. That's just to make it 4 thick, because that's the standard dimensions of a statue. But anyways, that is the body complete. If you haven't got that done so far, definitely go back in the video, see what has gone wrong. If not, if everything's still not going great, then definitely comment down below. I'll try and give you some more personalised support, or if not, definitely drop me a message on Twitter and I'll try to reply to it as soon as possible at Gummy Bear Games. Send me a picture and I'll see what I can do. Okay, so yeah, as I said, I'm going to pause the video right here, make sure everything's going well, and then we'll be right back in a minute. Okay guys, so everything is going great so far in terms of the video, so this means we can now move on to the head. So for the head, what we're going to do is we're going to start on the left side, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and on the 5th block we're going to place a hardened clay. Just to know you've done it right, it should be in line with this hardened clay here. What we're then going to do is extend it out 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And we do the exact same on the right side. So we go to the right side, count 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, to the left. Sorry, my bad. Place one on the 5th block, which again should be in line with this hardened clay here, and extend it out 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, what we do is we start working our way towards the middle point. So we go inwards, diagonally on each one, and then forwards one. We then do the exact same again. So we go inwards diagonally, and extend it out forwards one. And then for the third time, we don't extend it out. We just go inwards and it links up like so. So what that does is that extend it out over the front of the statue by 9 blocks, and it should look like this. So we got 4, 2, 2, 2, and then 2, 2, 4. And in this gap here, we're going to fill this with black wool, and you'll see later on why we do this. It acts as the bottom of the mouth, or the inside of the bottom of the inside of his mouth. There we go. Okay, so it should look like this once you filled that in. And what we're going to do now is move on to the left side of the head. We're going to start building that up, and then we'll come back round and work on the front. So for the left side of the head, what we're going to do is start off here. We're going to extend it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backwards. So it should overextend across the back of the statue 2 blocks, and again at the front it should be 9 blocks. On the second row, starting from left to right, we do 1 red stained clay, 1 grey wool, 1 red stained clay, 1 grey wool, and then 4 red stained clay. The next 2 blocks are quartz stairs facing towards the red stained clay. Make sure they are facing towards the red stained clay, because it gives a much better effect, and that is the start of the first row of the teeth. I'll come back and add them in a minute, the rest of the teeth, but for now we're going to work on this side. So, next row, what we're going to do is place 1 grey, leave 3 block gap, and place 1 grey. That is that row complete, nice and simple. Next row, 1 grey, 1, 2, 3, red stained clay, 1 grey, and then 1, 2, 3, red stained clay. Next row is 8 red stained clay, and we do that for 7 rows. So that's first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, sixth row, and finally the 7th row. And once you've done that, that gives you a shape that is 11 tall and 8 wide, and it should look like this. Now, one thing about the Foxy is there's a big puff of fur there. We're going to add that in a second, but for now what we're going to do is add the indents and the slight details. So, first slight detail, we come to the top left corner and we punch that one out. We then go down diagonal to right, punch it out, down diagonal to right again, punch it out again, then we go to the side one, and then down diagonal again to the right. We then come behind here, so we're indenting it, and we place cyan stained clay behind all the blocks that we just punched out, apart from the very top one. So you'll see in a second, when I come around here again, that I've placed cyan stained clay behind all of them, apart from the very top left corner. And that will all make sense later on in the video. Okay, so last part to this side before we start working on the jaw and the right side of the head. What we're going to do is, where we've got this gap here, we're going to go down diagonal to right again, and we're going to place 1, 2, 3 red stained clay in a row like so, and it should be sticking out of the main area, so it's 3D. The next row, so we're going to start one higher, we're going to build a row of 4 red stained clay, but in fact the bottom one is hardened clay. So it's 3 red stained clay, and then 1 hardened clay underneath. We're then going to further extend it out 1, right smack bang in the middle there, and 2 on the next row. Finally, for the side, we're going to place 1 hardened clay right there to extend it out a 3rd block, and once you've done that, it gives you a finish like this. Now, if you want to, feel free to pause here. This is what it should look like from the back side of the statue, but this is the left side of the statue, or the left side of the head at least, completed for now. So, moving on, we're going to start working towards the right side of the head. So what we're going to do is pretty much the exact same as what we've just done on the left side, but without the indents. So we come around to the right side, we get our hardened clay and we extend it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backwards, like we did on the other side. Then working from right to left this time, we place 1 red stained clay, 1 grey, 1 red stained clay, 1 grey, 1, 2, 3, 4 red stained clay, and then we've got our 2 quartz stairs facing towards the red stained clay. Next row, we place 1 grey wall, leave a 3 block gap, and then place 1 grey wall. That's that row done. Next row is 1 grey wall, 1, 2, 3 red stained clay, 1 grey wall, 1, 2 red stained clay, and then slightly different from the other side, we place 1 hardened clay. Now, of course, like the other side, there's another 7 rows of red stained clay, but the first block on the next 4 rows is hardened clay on the left side, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the rest is, of course, red stained clay. So for now, we place 7 red stained clay, 7, 7, 7, and then 8, 8, and then for the final row, 8. Okay, so as you can see, we've got 4 rows there of 7, and then 3 rows of 8. And it should look like this. Of course, if you want to, feel free to pause. One last thing we do need to add is the 3D part on this side. So we are going to add that right now. So for the 3D part on this side, what we're going to do is come to this part here. And we are going to place 1 hardened clay right there. We're going to go up 1 and to the side 2. On top of that, we're going to place 2 red stained clay and go up 1. Like so. We then come to the side. And essentially, we're going to do the same as we did last time. We're going to build up 3, and then extend it out 1 with red stained clay. So that's what it looks like from the front, and that's what it looks like from the side. Okay, so once you've done that, that is the right side complete, of course. And all we need to do now is the front and the back. But seeing as the back is easier, and I like taking the easier options, we are going to do the back, and then we'll come round to do the front. So for the back, the first row here is 6 black wool, like so, and then the second row is 6 hardened clay. The next row is 6 hardened clay again, and then the next row is empty. Next row is 6 red stained clay, and we just keep on going up, filling it solid red stained clay. That is all the back is, it's just solid red stained clay. Okay. And that brings us up to here. Of course, on this final block here, final corner, we leave that empty because that's meant to be empty. But that is what the back should look like. Again, this whole area is 11 tall by 8 wide. But the red stained clay area from here to up here is 7 tall and 8 wide. If you want to pause, feel free to do so whenever you need to. Okay, so coming round to the last part, which is the front of the face. The part that's going to be the most difficult to explain, of course. But also the most detailed part and the most interesting part. So what we're first off going to do is fill this area in here with black wool. And just finish that off. Like so. And then we're going to work on the jaw. So for the jaw, what we're going to do is we're going to come towards, facing towards, away from the front of the statue. And we're going to do our quartz stairs, all facing towards the statue. So like we did with these ones facing towards the red stained clay, we do all these the exact same. And on top of every hardened stained clay, we put a stair. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do the upper jaw. So we come to this point here. We're going to go up 1, 2. And on the third block, we're going to place 1 stained clay. Or hardened clay, should I say. We're then going to bring it 1 forwards. And we're going to mirror what we did on the bottom with hardened clay, but this time with stone. So we come inwards one and forwards, inwards one and forwards, inwards and to the side one. And then on this side we do the exact same. So we leave 1, 2, 3 on top of the stairs. On the third block we're going to place hardened clay, bring it forwards, come in diagonal, bring it forwards, in diagonal and forwards. And that gives you a shape like this. If I get rid of them 2 stone there, it gives you the outline like this. It basically mirrors the bottom jaw, but the difference is there should be a 1, 2 gap in between that and the teeth. Or if you're not including the teeth, there should be a 3 block gap between this one and this one. For filling in wise, what we do is we fill it all in with stone where it's stone, and we fill it in with hardened clay where it's hardened clay. We then come upwards like this, so we get an upper angle, and this block here and this block here we punch out. And also on the hardened clay, the second block and the second last block we also punch out. That will make sense in a second. For the nose, on the very end, we place 2 black wool right there. And then, of course, we can add the teeth, but we'll add that in a second, because once you add the teeth, you can't actually get into the mouth, and that will become an issue if I'm trying to build. So, what we're going to do now is add the detail to the nose. So we add the arches, which make up the nose, and then we will move on to doing the face. So the arches that make up the nose, what we're going to do, or the muzzle, or whatever you want to call it, the mouth, what we're going to do is we got this first row of stone here, we're going to leave that. We come to the second row and we place 1 on either side, and we go up diagonal and create a bridge to join it together. We then leave another row, this row with the holes in, we leave that, and on the very end we place 1 hardened clay, 1 stone, we go up diagonal like so, come down diagonal again, and then place 1 hardened clay on the other side. So we got these 2 like loops or 2 arches. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to leave 2 blocks, place 4 and leave 2 blocks, and then in the middle we're going to place 2 hardened clay like so. Then the final step for this nose or mouth, whatever you want to call it, on the left side underneath this arch here we place 1 hardened stained clay, and that's just to give it a bit more of a original thing rather than it being so symmetrical like it is right now. Okay, so once you've done that, that is the mouth complete, again minus the teeth. One last thing we need to do before we add all the detail inside the mouth is finish the face, of course. So that's what we are going to do right now. So for the face, what we're going to do is place 1 hardened clay right there and 1 right there. On top of that, we're going to place 2 black wool and go to the side one. We're going to do the exact same on this one, 2 black wool and to the side one, making sure they're pointing inwards. In this gap underneath the black wool, we're going to place 1 yellow stained clay on each side. And what we do need to do, which is something I didn't do earlier, we need to replace this 3 blocks at the side here next to the eye with hardened clay. I did originally use red stained clay and forgot that it's hardened clay. We also punch these 2 out and use hardened clay because, again, I forgot to say. So again, just to reiterate, we place these 2 with hardened clay. They were red stained clay, and then we replace these 3, which were red stained clay, with hardened clay. Next, what we do in between the eyes, we place a 2x2 of hardened clay. On top of the right eye, we place 2 hardened clay, and then the rest is red stained clay. We build this up to the top in line with the other rows at the sides, and then we can start punching out some details. So, above the left eye, we punch out 2 blocks. We go up 1, to the right 1, and then up diagonal 1. Behind it, we go like this. We place 1 cyan stained clay, 1 stone, we go up with 1 cyan and to the side with 1 stone. This block here we're just going to leave empty. In fact, what we do is we indent 1 red stained clay behind it. But this is what it should look like once you've done that. So, that is the face complete. Again, I'll look at it from the upper point of view. We've got this base area, which is the upper jaw. Then we got the end, the black wall at the end. We got the first loop, the second loop, which has got a hardened clay underneath. And then that links us into the face, which looks like this. So if you want to pause, feel free to do so. I recommend you do because it is rather difficult. That leaves us with 2 things now, the top of the head and inside the mouth. So for the top of the head, we're going to do first, and then we'll finish off with inside the mouth. We're going to fill it in solid with red stained clay. And then we'll punch the details out after, because that seems to be easier. So let's fill it all in solid with red stained clay. Looking at it from a front point of view, so make sure you're looking at the face. What we're going to do is we're going to back this one up one further. We're then going to go up diagonal to the left and up one, up diagonal to the left again and up one, and then up diagonal, and it will connect to this one in the corner that we punched out earlier. And it all is starting to make sense now. Next, what we're going to do is just fill these in, indent them with stone, just all of them with stone. Apart from this front one. This front one is red stained clay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add the ears. So we come to the left side, we leave a 2-block gap, and then on the third block we place 1 cyan. We do the exact same on the other side, so it's mirrored. We then extend it 2 to the left using red clay, and we go up 1 using red clay, and again on this side we go up 1, and then to the right 2 using red stained clay. As you can see, it's again just the same thing but mirrored. On top of this red stained clay, we're going to place 2 hardened clay, and on top of that we place 2 red stained clay. To cap it off, we then place 2 in the corner like so, and that is his left ear. His right ear is the exact same, so we place 2 hardened clay on top of the red stained clay. On top of that we place 2 red stained clay, and then we cap it off by placing 2 in a right angle corner like so. And once you've done that, it will look like this. It looks very finished, but of course we're missing the topper row of his jaw, or the topper row, the upper row of his jaw, and all his teeth. We're also missing the teeth inside of his mouth, because of course the Nightmare characters have got ridiculous amounts of teeth inside their mouth. So, for the inside of Foxy's jaw, let's do this. So, what we're going to do is we're going to, of course, work our way into his jaw, and we're going to get our black wool. If there are any gaps at this point, which there shouldn't be, in the floor, then definitely fill it in. For example, here, if there was a gap there, just fill it in with a black wool and make sure everything is looking awesome. So, what you'll have is a flat surface. What we're going to do is fill in the roof, and then we'll start adding in the teeth inside of his mouth. So the roof in here is just made of stone, so there should be an area here which is hardened clay, and then as soon as you come into line with this row here, which is the first row of the head, or the empty part, we just fill it in with stone. But yeah, it should be in line with this hardened clay. There should be 2 rows of hardened clay, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of stone. So, next what we're going to do, once we fill that in, is start adding some of the teeth at the back of the mouth. So, the first one we're going to do is we're going to come to the second last row, and in the middle 2 blocks we're going to place a 2x2 of cyan stained clay. On top of that we're going to place 2 stone, and then we need our stone brick stairs. What we do is we place 1 facing in either way, and then we do the exact same on the roof, mirrored facing towards the stone. So at the bottom row we have 2 facing towards the cyan stained clay, at the top row we have 2 facing towards the stone. Next what we do is we leave a 1 block gap going towards the front of the mouth. We place 1, leave a 1 block gap, place 1, and we do the exact same on the other side. Leave 1 block gap, place 1, leave 1 block gap, place 1. For the next one, what we do is we leave a 1 block gap, so this one, and we bring it forwards 1. And what these ones will be is they'll be pointing towards each other and connected, whereas these ones have a 2 block gap in between. So there's 3 rows of where they have a 2 block gap in between, and then the final row, the 4th row, has no gap. So that just leaves us with one last thing to do, and that is very, very simple. Add the rows of teeth. So what we do is, following the bottom row of teeth, we do the exact same on the top, again upside down facing towards the back of the mouth. I'm going to leave the front 2 till last so we can get out. And then yeah, the front 2 again are just upside down facing towards the back of the mouth. Once you've done that, it will look like this from inside the mouth, and from outside the mouth, let's come out through one of them holes, it will look like this, and it will look very, very awesome. So once you've done that, that is it. You have built your Nightmare Foxy statue. I was about to say Foxy tutorial. You've built your own Nightmare Foxy statue. So I'll give you one last spin around of the head. Again, if you wanted to spin around of the body, fast forward, go back a bit in the video, my bad, and you'll see what the body looks like. Again, the head is very, very detailed, so definitely take your time. If you have built it though, well done, and hopefully you'll stick around for the next tutorial, which will be out within the next 3 days, ideally, which I'm not sure which one it will be yet, but who knows, you'll have to wait. So yeah, anyways, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I've been Tom, and goodbye.
Pull my heart out of my chest, train my mind so I forget. Sink your teeth into my bones, dig me out, then fill the hole. Tear me apart,